The Dechambros are back.
We are back.
This is season 1, episode 24, Tanner, and we've made it all the way to the U.S. Open.
The third major in the season, and golf's toughest test is here.
Yeah, it's always kind of a little bit of a happy, sad moment for me in the golf season when we get to the U.S. Open, because we're kind of at that, we're over the edge. You know what I mean? We're at that halfway mark in the season. We have a lot to talk about in terms of, stats that we've gained from the first half of the season, but this is kind of the beginning of the end of the season.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And me being a stat guy, this week, stats are almost kind of out the window in a certain sense, because PGA stats and the tour stats, those are based on average PGA courses, right? And Oakmont is nothing like an average PGA course, right?
Absolutely not.
Here we go. Let's get into it. Let's start it off, and let's get into some betting here. All right, so the 2025 U.S. Open will be played at the iconic Oakmont Country Club, which is widely regarded as one of the most challenging courses in the world. A field of 156 players will descend on the Pittsburgh area property with hopes of winning this season's third major. But truthfully, only a few really have a chance in my mind. If you've been paying attention to social media these past 2 weeks, then you already know how tough this course is and how tough the rough is going to play. As world number 3 Xander Schauffele said, and I quote, "I don't think people turn on the TV to watch guys just hit a 200-yard shot on the green. I think they turn on the U.S. Open to see a guy shooting 8 over and to suffer." And you know what? That's part of the enjoyment of playing in the U.S. Open for viewers. And he could not have been more right. Could not have been more right.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I'm kind of, and I'll get into this in a little bit, but I'm kind of, I'm here and there on the challenge that we're about to see. Like, he's absolutely correct. Like, the U.S. Open is always a highlight of the season for just absolute carnage, but how much carnage is too much? Like, at what point is this no longer a test on who's the best player? And at what point is it just who can hit a goddamn fairway realistically, right?
I mean, well, if you think about it, like last year's U.S. Open winner with Bryson, I mean, that was a tough course as well. And everybody was saying that distance was going to be a bad thing. You got to be precise. And what did he do? He went out and said, listen, if everything is going to be tough around here, I'd rather be closer to the green and have it tough there than have it tough 180 yards behind it, right? So I think a little bit of that is going to play at Oakmont as well.
For sure.
Oakmont plays as a par 71 course littered with 168 bunkers and a course rating of 77.5. The greens play extremely fast, allegedly sitting around a 15 on the stimp meter. And that's if you can manage to find your way to the green through the 5-inch thick, overseeded rough that they've currently cut on the course right now. Even though the course has so much danger throughout, it's going to play easier for those long drivers, like I said, because if you're going to be in the rough, you might as well be closer to the hole. This year's U.S. Open will be a challenge even for the world's best, right? But since this isn't the case, it's hard for me to take a look at stats and make comparisons like I said earlier, right? However, I'm still going to be looking at greens in regulation, scrambling, sand saves, and ideally someone with above average in driving distance and accuracy.
Yeah, for sure. Couldn't agree more there. And I actually found a really fun prop bet for this week. And when doing my research, you're absolutely correct. Oakmont, for a member, plays as a par 71. For the U.S. Open, it's actually going to play as a par 70.
Oh, that's even worse.
So
that's harder.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm going to go through a couple of different things here, and then I'm going to ask you your opinion on this. So
talk to me.
A really fun prop bet I found was an over-under for the scoring on all 4 days. So who, like the winner, will they be over or under 278.5?
And what would that be as far as just a -1, a +4? Like, what are we talking here?
Great question.
I'm not a mathematician.
I did some math for you. I came prepared.
Love
so
it.
par 70 times 4, 280. So what we're looking at is basically an over-under of -1.5 for the finish. So if the winner is -2, we're at an under, right? If it's anything higher than that going into the pluses, which if you're on social media and you've seen anything, all the players are talking about is how tough this course is going to be, how brutal the test is going to be, and how everybody thinks that we're going to get ourselves another over par finish going into this week.
I think it was Ben Griffin who famously said on a podcast earlier this week that he would sign a scorecard of +4 and think that he have a decent chance of winning the tournament.
Yeah, it was on the Foreplay podcast. It was a great interview with Riggs there.
Wild.
And yeah, it's one of those things, like, as a professional golfer, and especially Ben Griffin, like, Ben Griffin is hot right now, dude.
He's so hot right now, dude.
He is by far one of the best golfers right now. There's an interesting part of that interview as well where they were talking Ryder Cup, right? Right now, he's 7th in points, so he's basically a shoo-in as a first captain's pick. But he said he wasn't stopping there. When he talked to Captain Keegan, his goal was to earn his way into one of those top 6 spots. And I mean, I'll talk about it in a bit. I don't see him slowing down at all. So
I don't either, honestly. Ben Griffin, famously, we talked about him a few tournaments before the Masters and leading into that because he was, playing 13, 14, 15 in a row trying to make it to the Masters. And he didn't get in, of course. He finished with a 51st on the OWGR. Right before the Masters started there. So, I mean, couldn't be more happier for that guy. I mean, he is a true testament of someone who went out there and grinded.
For sure.
Grinded. Now has 2 wins on the season so far. So, big
and
guy.
And a 2nd place.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and within the last few weeks recently, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
definitely a guy we're going to look at and talk about. But I'm really interested on this this prop bet you got here, this over-under 278.5.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, I took the under.
You took the under.
I think that as much as everybody is hyping this week up to be an over par finish, I don't see it with the players that are in the field, with the technology that they have. And even going back to it, like if I go back to the last time that we played a U.S. Open at Oakmont, Dustin Johnson won at -4.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Lowry came in second at -1, and Shane Lowry shot a 79 on Sunday to shoot a -1. So there was a possibility for, an even lower score to win if he just shot even par here, right?
Wow.
5th place was even. So, I mean, it was high scores, but the last time we saw an over par was back in 2007 was +5. So I don't know if it's Angel or Angel Cabrera shot
Angel,
+5. He, famously, obviously edged Tiger Woods by
famously
one stroke
went to jail
too.
Yeah,
he came back out and he's been killing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my opinion, like I don't want to overhype Scotty, and we've done that all season long enough. But like
he doesn't make mistakes, dude. I'm so interested to see how he's gonna play Oakmont. You have no idea. Like,
dude, if Scotty goes out there and he shoots -2 through 4 days, this bet cashes. Do you know what I mean? And like, I just don't see a world. I do not think that we are living in a world where Scotty doesn't at least shoot -2 through 4 days. I think he's going to have a tough day, whether it's on Friday or whether it's on Sunday or whether it's, he's going to have one tough day out there where the course is going to bite back. But I think that he's also going to shoot a few low 60 rounds in there, or it's not low 60, but a few low rounds in the 60s where it's going to make up for it. I'm thinking, if I had to put it, like I'm thinking a -4, -5, even seeing Scotty go down the stretch on the 72nd hole at -5 or -6, giving us a bogey and winning this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the way you explained it there, going through it all, at first I was going to say over just because of, everything that's in the news and the media, the way they're hyping this up, but I kind of agree with everything you just said there. It's hard to say Scotty's going to shoot plus something or only a -1, right, at a course. But, I mean, he just doesn't make mistakes.
He doesn't.
He really doesn't. And it's major season. There's going to be a lot of guys that put a lot more importance on this week than other weeks in the schedule, right? So, I'd be happy taking the under on that one with you. I think that's a great prop bet there.
Beauty. Well, I'm not done with the prop bets. It's major.
Talk.
It's major week, so I have some major fun prop bets.
All right.
That over under in terms of what the finishing score was going to be just got my mind going, and I had to dig deep to find this, but I found another prop bet for the cut line.
Okay.
So back in 2016, when Dustin Johnson won at Oakmont, the official cut line was +6. They have the over-under at +6.5. That's a tough line.
That's a really tough line. I would go over that, honestly. Like, I think the cut line might be around the 7 or 8 mark this year.
I'm thinking the exact same
Just
way.
because Scotty's going to do well doesn't mean the rest of the course is going to do as well. I'd take the over on that one.
That's exactly it. And I mean, you said it very, very well when you had the intro to the course. I mean, I only think that there is a handful of players here that really have that kind of chance and that edge, and the odds do show it, of course, to win this. I think there are a lot of players that are going to struggle. I think we're going to see scores in the high 80s. We might even reach, 90s with some of the amateurs and things like that are going to be out there. So I 100% agree with you. I'm projecting a high cut, but a low score for the finisher.
I like that. Kind of going opposites here.
It does, which leads me perfectly...
Tell me you got another.
Into my
third
prop bet. This one was huge. I mean, you mentioned Ben Griffin with that interview on Foreplay, and I'm going to be honest, I stole this from Riggs.
Okay.
This prop bet I thought was just absolutely a genius bet by him. Winner to par the 72nd hole. If you choose no, it's +110. So the winner can birdie the 72nd hole to get into a playoff and win, or birdie to outright win, or can bogey or worse. And you
kind of like how
cash
Scotty has won quite a few of his majors
100%
by bogeying the final hole.
100%. And if you can't tell by now, like, if I'm going to bet anyone for an outright win, it's definitely Scotty. I think I made that pretty obvious. I'm not putting that bet in there because it's crazy.
I mean, it's +275. Like the lowest odds for someone to win a major since Tiger
Woods.
Yeah, like it absolutely insane. I'm not touching the 275. I got a few fun winner bets as well in my own, but I just can't. I can't put a whole bunch on +275. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't, the odds aren't there for me. So
completely agree. So that was my fun to start out with the course. I think we get into talking some players and see, who we think is going to finish where.
All right. Well, let me get started here. All right. And let's talk about somebody who is a 2-time major champion. Okay. And our guy, Xander Schauffele. Okay. Last 4 U.S. Opens, he has been incredible. T7, T10, T14, and a 5th place outright. Okay. This year at the majors, he's had a T28 at the PGA and a T8 at the Masters. I think while he hasn't been at his best this year, he's always at his best in big tournaments, and he does boast an impressive 7th in strokes gained approach. He's got an above average greens in regulation, and he ranks 27th in driving distance. If he can keep it in play this week, he's going to be a force on the course. Right now, you can get Xander at -110 for a top 20, and that just feels like stealing money for me. Honestly, It's one of my favorite bets this week. Xander Schauffele, a top 20 finish.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I completely looked over Xander going into this week, and maybe that's a mistake on my end, but maybe it's, a product of the beginning of how this season went, and maybe I have a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth for, how our fantasy team has been doing because he was our number 1 pick. But
you also put him in your bets for PGA, and he bid at 28th, right? So he was close, but he really didn't contend at the PGA.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, like you said, he has a great history when it comes to the U.S. Open. Maybe this will bite me in the ass. I have left him completely off my bet slip for the entire week.
Okay. Well, this guy hasn't. Who else you got here?
Let's talk about our guy Bryson. I am super excited about Bryson going into this week. I mean, Bryson has been an absolute major machine since going to LIV. Let's look at the last 2 years, okay? So 2024 Masters, T6. 2024 PGA, 2nd. 2024 US Open, hello, he wins it. Misses the cut at the Open Championship, but like, come on, man.
He doesn't have a good course history at links golf. He really never contends at the Open Championship, but the remainder of them, he is a horse for all the courses.
He does, because let's bring that back into this year. I mean, he's got T5 at the Masters and 5th at the PGA. Like, he is absolutely running through these major championships. With Scotty in the field, like, I mean, if I'd have to toss a coin and say, you know, heads is Scotty and tails is Bryson, like, that's kind of where I'd be at for winning this tournament. But I mean, when you want to talk about odds, like you were just talking about minus 110 for Xander for top 20. Top 5, including ties for Bryson right now, is at plus 160.
Yep.
That's an absolute lock for me. That is a bet I will be hammering this week.
Well, I can't say anything negative about that, dude, because I have the exact same bet on my sheet here. And for some reason, earlier today, it was 162 for a top 5.
Oh, you got that extra 2
I got that extra 2 there.
There you go.
But I mean, you're absolutely right. He has been on an elite run in the majors in the last 2 years so far, right? With Scotty as the favorite, Bryson, even to win right now, I saw him at plus 775 on some books, like plus 700 on others. I feel like that is the better chase to go for instead of a plus 275, right? Bryson, sure. He's sitting at a distant second, of course, in that sense, but his history in this tournament, having won 2 US Opens already, is just astronomical. And he could be the first person to repeat since our guy Brooks.
Yep.
Right? I mean, truthfully, he's gained over 3 strokes per round in his competitions in the majors and his last 6 majors that you just went over, excluding the Open Championship, of course, right? He's going to be a dominant figure this week. He's got the distance. The only thing that we might have to worry about, which did plague him in both of his majors this year, even though he finished 5th in both of them, is his short iron play and his accuracy control.
Yeah, it's tough when, you know what I mean, your short irons are carrying 200 yards to be able to have that finesse, you know, within that 100 yards and so, right? Yeah. And especially with the 1-length irons and the 1-length wedges, like having, you know, 7 or 6 iron length, whatever the hell his shaft is,
7, yeah,
in his lob wedge, and it's
ridiculous.
It's tough.
Yeah, he's putting his lob wedge over 160, right? Like
and I mean, we've seen it in the past. We've seen him have brilliance around the greens. We've seen him have that touch. I mean, if anything, having that long rough and being able to bomb it as far as he can down there, and then having that longer shaft to get more momentum in the club through the ball, I think that's only going to be an advantage for him. I think just the delicate touches around the green when, you know, if you miss the green, you go off that runoff, and, you know, maybe if you miss hard left or hard right and you're in that thick shit around the green, it's going to be a tough go for him, right? So hopefully he's missing, you know, longer than 200 yards and he's going to get that thing on the green. But yeah, I think it's going to be a test for Bryson. It's hard too. I mean, looking at stats, obviously playing on live, there's nothing really much for us to go off of in terms of what his stats are. It's really all the eye test from what we've seen and how he's performed in these majors. So, I mean, there's no mistaking it, man. I mean, defending champion, you know, famously the logo of our podcast, our guy, fellow YouTube golfer, gotta love him. I love Bryson over Scotty as a win, but I love him even more as a lock for a top 5.
Yep, couldn't say it any better myself, big dog. Couldn't say it any better myself. I want to talk about somebody we've talked about, you know, quite recently on the podcast. It's been a contentious subject here. Collin Morikawa. Okay?
All right.
So Morikawa, in my opinion, has all the tools needed to compete this week at Oakmont, right? He enters the U.S. Open ranked 2nd in driving accuracy with 72.87% hitting the fairway. Third in birdie average, 6th in strokes gained approach to green, and 8th in strokes gained total. He's also been effective on the green, ranking 4th in putting average. Morikawa's past success in major championships, you know, coupled with his ball striking ability, is why I'm high on him this week at Oakmont, right? In 6 U.S. Open starts, he has 2 top 5s and 4 top 20s. I kind of like my guy Collin Morikawa this week. I feel like a lot of people aren't going to be on him because of his appearance of an up and down season, but he has been very strong this year. And I think that he's in a good mindset. And I think that he really wants to prove that he's not just a COVID golfer and that he can win when it counts. And I think this is the kind of week to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think to piggyback off that, I think a lot of people out there are definitely going to put a blind eye to Colin. And I mean, I think I'm going to be one of them. Yeah. Like, I mean, Colin just has not done enough for me this season to be confident in him really in any tournament, right? Like any tournament that he's in, the top guys are in, and I have no confidence with him going head to head against them. Maybe that's wrong, but I'm one of those guys that, again, I haven't seen enough out of Colin for me to just see his name and be confident.
I mean, that's fair. I'm more thinking of like a top 20 type bet, right? Which is sitting at plus 110 odds. And I think that's a fair assessment of where his game is at. And I don't think he's going to win this tournament, but I do think that he wants to do good. I think everyone wants to do good. That's a stupid statement, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that he has that drive behind him to prove that like, all the changes he's been doing this year, everything he's been working on, this is the time to show it at golf's toughest test. And I think he's going to show out at least for a top 20. I
don't mind that. Like, I don't, at plus 100, I don't mind him as like a parlay builder, you know, an odds booster, someone that, you know, can get it done. It's a little bit of a risk. Do I see me putting him into a top 20 bet and him hitting like a 22nd or a 26th or something and then just breaking my heart? Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, if I was betting Colin this week, I'd be putting him in as a little bit of a bet booster into a parlay. There's another guy that I had at the exact same odds, and I'm going to hop right back onto the live train.
Oh, I love it.
Because this is a name that I think a lot of people forget. This is a name of a past U.S. Open champion.
Yep.
This is a name of a guy who went to live and has not finished outside of the top 10 since. I'm talking about my guy, Jon Rahm.
Okay.
Jon Rahm at plus 100 for a top 10 is a great odds boost. I mean, if you're feeling bold, you can get him at plus 220 for a top 5, which I don't think is going to be a bad bet either. Like, if you look at his past here at the U.S. Open, so obviously he won in 2021. He followed that up with a T12 in 2022 and a T10 in 2023. He did not play last year.
Yep.
His majors this year, T14 at the Masters, T8 at the PGA. So that gives me a whole lot of confidence in that top 10, right? Mm-hmm. Top 5, a little bit more shaky, but I love Jon Rahm. I think that his skill is forgotten. I think that there's a bitter taste in a lot of fans' mouths that he went over to live, but I don't think that he lost his game when he did it.
No, you know, it's funny. Earlier this week, I saw this post on X, and it got a whole lot of impressions, and he doubled up on it, so I'll explain it in a second here. But the guy goes, he was watching, there was a post of that interview where Jon Rahm's talking about how, you know, he doesn't think that he would be top 10ing every PGA event if he was still in the PGA. And the guy kind of quote tweeted and he goes, yeah, I work at a retirement home and I've never finished outside the top 3 when we go bowling. And then 2 days later, he follows up and reposts what he posted because it got over 1.8 million impressions. And he goes, wow, this tweet gets more viewers than any live tournament got this year so far. And what a dig at live that was, because it made me howl. Saying all of that, I do love Jon Rahm. I do think his game is in a good place, and I think people overlook him because of his move to live golf, honestly. I really do. So putting him for like a top 10 pick or even a top 20, I think is a really smart bet right now for our guy, Jon Rahm.
Yeah, high on the live guys, man. High on the live guys.
Let's talk about somebody I'm not so high on right now.
I think we're going the exact same direction. Just looking at your screen and looking mine. Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty here.
I didn't even put stats for this guy here because it just feels like a heart pick for me. I'm going to be fading our guy who we famously said it was the year of after he won this year's Masters. That's Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, like it's always a bad day when I have to wake up and think to myself, like, do you have faith in Rory McIlroy? And right now, Tanner, like, that answer is no. Like, I don't know what is going on between the ears of Rory. And I mean, great bet that I cashed last week by picking Shane to top Rory. Rory obviously missing the cut at the Canadian Open.
Plus 9 through 2 rounds. That's insane.
Did not see that coming. But I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking. Like, the season has been built up so well around Rory. It's been great to be able to cover him and have that hype and it come to that peak with the Masters. But man, did it ever fucking peak, and have we ever been falling since? Like,
how fast things turn.
For sure, man. Like, he had his nice little hit and giggle, and like he showed up at the Truist. He gave me some hope. It's like, okay, yeah, he's still back. Then he got what? 47 at the PGA. Doesn't do any type of media, skips the Memorial, doesn't do a whole lot of media there, misses the cut at the Canadian Open where he's never not top 10. Like, I don't know what's going on between his ears. I've watched a lot of interviews leading up to this week where it doesn't seem like he knows what's going on. Like, he's saying, I don't want to throw TaylorMade under the bus, but I'm just trying to figure out the driver. And he's talking about how he's found it, hard to get up and put that grind in and do the practice after the Masters. And fuck, man, like, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Like, if the Masters was the Open, for example, if the Masters was the last major of the season, I don't see anybody having a problem with Rory not playing another tournament.
Yep.
Like, ride off in the sunset and go from there. But that's the beginning of the season. Like, we have so much more golf to go. We've already covered so much, and there's so much more to go. And that's just the reality of professional golf. You have to stay up and you have to stay high for so long, or else we get into conversations like this. It hurts my heart to say it. I'm right there with you. Fading Rory McIlroy is the bet of the week here.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see where his head's at, but then I don't at the same time, right? So I get it. It was a 14-year goal, right? He had been working. That was what he worked for 14 years. I get that. But can't that just flip to, all right, I'm now one of 6 people who have ever gotten the Grand Slam, and I'm only number 17 on the list for major wins, right? Like, you've got how much years left of your career? Don't you want to get up higher on that? Don't you want to cement your legacy even more? For me, hearing him say that he struggles to get to the practice green, right? Struggles to swing in the morning. I see it. I think it's very evident. Everyone sees it. And because of that, I just have zero faith in Rory. And right now, I think he's like the 3rd favored in this tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of his name. And I think that's for suckers to lose their money this week, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. And like, Rory is, he's 3rd betting favorite at plus 1,200. And I mean, Rory's on that list because he's Rory. And by God, he's deserved it. I mean, he's got 3 wins already this year with the AT&T. He won the fucking Players. He won the fucking Masters. Like, what else do you want from this guy? But we're golf fans, man. I want more.
Yeah, I want a Scotty run.
PGA. I wanted the USO. I want it all. You know what I mean? And the reality of it is, when the cameras are off, these guys are just guys. They're just humans. And no matter what's going on in your life, if he's got stuff going on at home, if he's got all this stress and like what I was hoping was the weight off of his shoulders with the Masters win, maybe that was just that kind of weight off into a relief and a relaxation mode that he's really struggling to get out of. And the way he's talking in these interviews like a defeated man. Like, he's not going in these interviews going, yeah, I won the Masters and it took me some time to get back, but I'm fucking crushing it. I'm out there grinding. I'm coming back, baby. He's like, yeah, man, that was the greatest moment of my life. And life's kind of been shit since. You know what I mean? So it's not looking good for Rory going into golf's toughest test of the year. I just don't think that he has the mindset right now to go out there and get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it's enough said, honestly. I think we're both on the fade Rory train this week, and hopefully that changes soon, because there's nothing better than when Rory's on his game, truthfully.
Truthfully.
All right, let's. I'm gonna go into a fun little pick here. I got a few prop bets here. You led with some. I'm gonna jump in here.
Cool. What do you got?
I've got Min Woo Lee as top Australian for plus 400.
Interesting.
I think his game is trending in the right direction, and I think he's the longest hitter among his Aussie competition. He's never finished outside of the top 30 in his 3 U.S. Open starts. Plus 400 seems like a steal because his only true competition is Cam Smith, and he's really not been the same golfer since he left for LIV.
For sure. Like if you want to talk more fades, Cam Smith, like get out of the conversation, right? So I mean, the only thing that concerns me with Min Woo is, he hammers the shit out of the ball, but he doesn't do it very accurately. And I think he scraped by with a win earlier this season, and all that was talked about. It's funny, like you have these players, they win, you want to talk about how good they did. All I was hearing about was how bad he played and still got by, right? Yeah. And that's the only thing that scares me. I mean, obviously, Dr. Chapinski, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he's great around the greens. I think that's only going to come into play if he gets himself in the approach or in the sand. If he goes any further into that rough, I think he loses all credibility around the greens, and we're going to see a bad stat for him in that sense. Also, not a very good putter. So, I mean, I love him as top Aussie. For sure, because that takes a whole lot of the competition out of it. Like that's a great bet. And what do you have him reading there? You got that at plus 400?
Plus 400 for top Aussie, and he's never finished outside the top 30.
That's a huge bet because I see Cam Smith missing the cut.
Cam Smith missed cut. Who else is Australian on tour that I'm missing? I know there's another few. I'll quickly take a look at it, but unless I shot myself on the foot here, I've already put that bet in. So.
I didn't look at that bet, so I don't know. So let's pull FanDuel up here and see what we got going on. I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, it's gonna pop up. And
there's gonna be one that we see. So Adam Scott, there we go. Adam Scott was the one, and then Jason Day, of course, as well. But Jason Day is more of a.
I don't remember how am I sitting here forgetting Adam Scott and Jason Day.
Yeah. I think Jason Day is more of an accessory than he is, a main person on tour, really. I mean, Adam Scott is good in spurts. Right. But I think you could say the exact same about Min Woo Lee. I think plus 400 I'm still confident in it after seeing that, truthfully.
Cool. I got another fun one for you, too. So I wanted to talk about my guy first, Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
Okay. So I talked about him a little bit earlier. Obviously, cashed a huge bet for me at the Canadian Open. And I mean, Shane Lowry has just been a monster cash cow for me all season long. This bet's going to be a long shot, but it's more one of those bets that I kind of feel in my heart and in my soul, okay? Mm-hmm. I have Shane Lowry plus 2,200 as the winner without Bryson, Jon Rahm, Scotty, and Rory.
Okay, wait, say that all over again.
So take Bryson, Jon Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy out of the field. I have Shane Lowry winning this tournament.
That's interesting.
And a lot of this now, Tanner, has to do with his finish in 2016, right? So obviously he played a great weekend, comes in second place last time we were here at Oakmont. So he's been tested. He's done well. That 79 on Sunday scares me a little bit. I mean, his last 2 appearances in the U.S. Open, he's got a T20 and a T19. So I'm not majorly confident, but this is a guy who has been playing consistently well all season long. Mm-hmm. And if you take the top 4 names out of the equation, I mean, I can see Shane Lowry with a 3rd place or a 4th place finish and cashing this plus 2,200 bet for me.
You know what's funny is that I can also see him at a T20 or a T19 as well, because that's what he's done this year, all year long. I loved your bet last week of Shane Lowry being the top Irish finisher, right? Which that cashed. Great pick. I don't know if I love this one because I think that this is just such a tough course. And outside of those 4 golfers, Bryson, Jon Rahm, Scotty, Rory, I think you still have JT. I think you still have not John Rahm, sorry. You still have a few other live golfers. I'm kind of leaving one off because I want to talk about them in a little bit here. And I also think that you've got some people that I'm going to talk about in a second as well, and Ben Griffin that we brought up a little earlier. I think that's a tough bet, but the odds at plus 2,000, like that's something that's worth throwing a little bit at.
Yeah, and like I mean, I love Ben Griffin going into this week. I don't love him. I don't love him top 5ing. I don't love him top 10ing. I don't even know if I'm going to see him in the top 20 realistically. I mean, it's to me, Shane Lowry jumped out as a name as someone who has done it before. This is a major champion. This is someone who came in second place and has done it at this tournament.
Yep.
Other than those 4 top names, he's the one that jumped out the most that could win it. And I mean, keeping odds at plus 2,200 with taking those 4 names out, it was just, I'm chasing the odds, man.
I'd say, yeah, it's an odds bet. I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's not going to be a big bet, but it's going to be a bet that I'm hoping cashes and we can kind of celebrate it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the hard thing too is that there's other players this year that have had really excellent years, like Straka, right? So I think it's hard, but like you said, at plus 2,200, you're just chasing odds and you're trying to have some fun, and I think that's a great way to do it.
I love that you brought my guy Straka up. Do you mind if I just keep going on this?
Go right into him because I had him too earlier. I
told you this is major week. I'm having some major fun. I'm gonna pull this right in to my Treyway parlay of the week. So I have a 3-guy top 20 bet. So all 3 of these guys hit top 20. I picked first Shane Lowry.
Yep.
And then my notes say see above top 20 monster. So for everything I've already talked about 5 seconds ago is why Shane Lowry's in there. Sepp Straka is my number 2 on that list. Sepp Straka is a guy that just hits the absolute shit out of the golf ball.
His name should not be Sepp Straka. It should be Striker Straka.
Because
he strikes the fuck out of him, doesn't he?
Sure. I mean, super consistent golfer throughout this entire season. He's missed the cut at both majors so far, which worries me a little bit. But I mean, I don't really see that as a big problem. I don't see those tournaments as courses that really fit his game, right? Where if you're talking about someone who can hammer the ball far and hammer the ball straight, Oakmont's where we want to be. Mm-hmm. Also looking at his last 4 tournaments outside of the majors, T13 at the RBC, 12 at the Zurich, 1, the Truist, and then followed that up with a 3rd place at the Memorial. So this guy hits the ball well. He hits it far. He's playing the best golf in his career.
100%.
As a second player in this top 20 pick, I thought he was perfect. Third is someone we don't talk about much on this podcast. I got Tommy Ladd.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking about consistent players with Sepp. We're talking about consistent players with Shane. We can't forget to talk about consistency in Tommy Ladd's game. He came T5 in 2023. T16 in 2024 at the U.S. Open. So It's a tournament he plays well at. He's an absolute ball striker. And the only reason we don't talk much about Tommy, of course, is because he doesn't have a win on tour. Like, again, I don't think that Tommy's going to get his first win on American soil at the U.S. Open. But a top 20 bet, like that's definitely in the cards. And all 3 of those guys, top 20, Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Tommy Ladd, gave me plus 850 for a Treyway parlay.
You know, I like that because there isn't a top 5 golfer in that. And even though we say, you know, only proven winners win at this course, this, that, the other, there is always those guys like Tommy Fleetwood that consistently finish high but never win, right? And Sepp Straka,
you got it.
One of my favorite golfers, and I didn't even see him shoot a golf ball before I had said he was one of my favorite golfers. It was mainly because of his name, right? Like a few years back when we did our fantasy thing, and I forced you to pick him on our team, and he wasn't good then. Well, I'm glad that I forced you to pick him this year again because, my God, has he turned his game around. I'd be excited to see how he does. You know, those prior 2 finishes this year at the majors are a little tough to look at.
Shaky for sure.
But I mean, of U.S. Open winners, there's a high percentage of them that they win their first major ever at the U.S. Open, which is weird because it's usually the toughest tournament on the schedule that year. So, seeing him play well would be really exciting this weekend as well. That's not bad at plus 850.
Cool.
All right. Well, I talked about Ben Griffin. You talked about Ben Griffin. So let me just quickly toss this in here because if somebody wants to have a little fun, I'm going to give them a fun stat. Okay. Top 10 at plus 500. And this would just be me riding the hot hand here. Okay. 3 straight top 10s, including a win, a runner-up, and his first major top 10 at Quail Hollow at the PGA Championship. In my opinion, let's run it back. Let's have some fun. He is one of the hottest golfers right now, and you can get him at plus 500 for a top 10.
I got a fun one, and I'm going to piggyback right on Ben Griffin because this pick is my last pick of the night, I promise.
Let's talk.
It's my favorite pick of the night, and I think you're going to love this. I got Ben Griffin at plus 360 for the top I'm going to butcher this. Debutant. It's his debut at the US Open.
Player.
So there is a whole list of names who are debuting their first US Open this week. Honestly, at plus 360 for Ben Griffin to be the top debutant, I thought that was an absolute steal. Like you said it earlier on this podcast, Ben famously missed the Masters by 1 spot on the OWGR, and it really feels like he's done his best Michael Jordan impression of, I took that personally. Like looking at his last 3 tournaments, 8th in the PGA, 1st at the Charles Schwab, 2nd at the Memorial. Ben Griffin is fucking hot right now, and I don't know if, like, especially kind of when you put him in, like, the rising star category, I don't know how much trust and faith I put in a rising star to get a top 10 in his first U.S. Open ever, but I put a whole lot behind him beating out everybody else who's playing this tournament for the first time.
That's a very fun stat. Who else would be playing besides amateurs? Who else would be playing for their first U.S. Open?
Like there was a whole bunch of them. It was like Nikolai Rasmus fucking something. There's a
Nikolai. Yeah. The Hogard twin. Well, not twins, brothers.
No. You're wrong on there.
Oh,
hold on.
Well, Nikolai and Rasmus are the Hogards.
No, it's Rasmus. I don't know, Tanner. Let me look it up. You keep going, and I'll come back to it.
All right, well, while you're getting that pulled up, I'm going to have some fun here as well. And so this is my last pick for the U.S. Open tournament. And I feel like this player has been very disrespected, especially this year in major tournaments, okay? And probably for a good reason because he's been cut both times at both majors this year. And this is not a player that usually gets cut at major season. This is usually a player that brings his best game for every single major that he plays in. And this is Brooks Koepka. And Brooks Koepka is at plus 9,000. Plus 9,000 to get the win. I'm not talking about top placements. I'm talking, let's toss $10 down and make $900.
Yeah.
Let me get into this, Shane, okay? Yeah. Before you spaz out over here. All right?
Yeah.
He's a 2-time US Open champion. Famously went back-to-back, okay? He's shown in the past that he thrives in tough competitions during major season. Now, I did say he's been on a downward trajectory these past few majors with missed cuts at the PGA and the Masters, which I think is why we have these odds reflected the way that they are. When the world doubts Brooks, he always shows up. He finished 26th last year and 17th the year before that in the U.S. Open. And again, 2017, 2018 U.S. Open champions. And he actually got 2nd place in 2019. He was almost a 3-time in a row U.S. champion. I don't see how the odds makers has given us this potential gift of 9,000 odds. I mean, again, $10 gets you $900, right? Brooks has always come to play in major season, and I feel like he's not going to be happy with his last 2 outings this year. He famously talks about he doesn't care about other PGA wins. He doesn't care about this, that, the other. All he cares about is majors, and he thinks he can get 10 more before he's done. He said that in conversations. He's gonna have to show us that these cuts are just, he wasn't at his game, right? And I don't think he takes the live competitions as seriously as he should either, right? So I think you're really playing odds here. But for $10 for a 2-time U.S. Open champion who wants more championships, I'm going to have a lot of fun at $10.
I don't think you are. I don't think you're going to have a lot of fun come Saturday. And like that really, really hurts me to say. Brooks is my fucking guy. Like I've won a lot of money off Brooks, but I'll tell you the last 2 years, I've lost a lot of money with having that exact same mentality and going into major season going, it's majors Brooks. It's different. He's a fucking killer. He's cutthroat. I don't know if he's that guy anymore. And honestly, I don't know if that's me doubting him or people doubting him more than that's just him either doubting himself or just really not caring anymore. And a golfer that shows me he doesn't care is a golfer that I don't care to bet on, okay? I'll give you a direct comparison, right? Look at Bryson Dechambros. Bryson went to live and said, look at all these things I'm going to do. Yep. Look at how much my world has opened up. I'm going to be a competitor when it comes to majors. I'm going to grow my brand and, grow my personality and show you exactly who I am and allow you to understand me and root for me. And Brooks has just continued his I don't give a fuck attitude that I've loved him for his entire career. But it's just gone to I don't give a fuck about anything. He's not competing well on live. He is not competing well in majors. And I honestly don't know with the money that he has in his bank account if he truly even gives a shit if he places or misses the cut this week. I really don't.
I think he does care about majors. And I think that, he won the PGA, 3 years ago? Or would that be 4 now? That'd be 3, right? Because he went to live and then won the PGA. And then...
I've lost money ever since.
Yeah, I was going to say, I won with that one too, right? I don't know. I just feel like Brooks is one of those guys that can turn it on. Like he did it famously in the PGA Tour. Like he just wasn't doing well in regular season. Like all of a sudden majors came and I think he does have an ability to turn that gear on. And I hope that he's pissed off with how he's been playing in the majors because he does put it out there that he wants and thinks he can win multiple more majors before he's done. And I don't know, right? Like thinking about it, did he go through one of those smaller Rory things where he's like, well, you told me I go to live, I'd never win a major again, and I did it. And so now he's completely off gear? Or did he just take that gear off and now he's like, all right, now I'm kind of embarrassing my legacy here a little bit and let's turn this thing back on. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think that the odds are always going to be this high until he does do that at one tournament, right? He finishes T2 or T5. All of a sudden, next major, you're not getting 9,000. You're not even getting close to 9,000. I think this is a gift. And for $10, for the possibility of winning 900 on someone like Brooks Koepka, who's proven to have a second gear, I'm not saying throw your life savings on Brooks Koepka. I'm saying let's have some fun with $10.
Yeah, I mean, Brooks has definitely proven not only does he have a second gear, man, he's got a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Like, It truly hurts me to say, and you're not wrong. Like when it comes to majors, you can never truly count Brooks out. I just am like I've completely lost faith in Brooks as a golfer. Love him as a guy. I love what he's done. I've loved following him as long as I followed golf, and it's been a great ride to see him show up in the majors. It's the same thing like I said with Rory. Like I see Rory in these press conferences with just like a I don't care mentality. And that's just what I get off of Brooks as well. I don't like I don't like that bet. I don't like saying it. I really, really don't like Brooks coming into the US Open. Like this guy hasn't been able to prove he can play golf on a municipal course, never mind at fucking Oakmont.
Let me tell you something here. I feel like I haven't seen anything about Brooks Koepka in the news. I haven't seen one interview of him for a while. And I feel like somebody like that has an ego. And I really hope that his ego's hurt right now. I really do. And I hope he hears what you just said and he thinks, I'm going to fucking show Shane that he's an idiot. And I'm going to show Tanner that we're going to have some fun together.
That would be sick.
That's what I'm hoping for.
That would be sick if you heard this, but I mean, it is what it is. So, all right, I'm going to finish off because you asked me that list of the top debutants. So Ben Griffin at plus 360. Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. That's what I was trying to get out. Okay. So Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, great player. Just don't see him doing it. Jackson Koivu, Johnny Kiefer, Jacob Bridgman, Nikolai Neugaard, Laurie Carter, Matthew Jordan, Michael Asoso, Frederick Lacroix. Like, no disrespect to any of you guys' name. Alistair Doherty, Barstool guy, you know what I mean? But
love the name.
Don't see him shooting better than Ben Griffin. Like, I'm scrolling down this list.
The way Ben's playing right now, it's just,
dude, that's.
I mean, I was looking to see if Ryan Fox was on that list there, because he's been playing some really decent golf too. And truthfully, I don't remember his name being in major conversations any prior year, right? But no, the more you went through
that's another guy.
The better I liked.
I don't even know if he's in the field, but if he is, that's another guy going against your Aussie bet.
Who?
Ryan Fox.
Ryan Fox. Oh, yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, that kind of wraps it up for me. Anything else you got for me today, Tan?
Love you, Bryson.